Okay, ladies and gentlemen, does everyone have, there should be three motions. The first should be the motion from Commissioner Mattila Hartman, and then the motion from Commissioner Crew, and then the motion from Councillor Leeper. That's the order we're going to address them in. And there had been a request at the beginning of the meeting to split the report into the three sub-recommendations. So all the amendments relate to item A, and so we'll deal with that, and then we'll move to B and C.
Point of order.
Go ahead.
I'm just looking at Councillor Leeper's motion with the friendly amendment that the report back by the end of Q4 2019, and I'm looking at Commissioner Crew's amendment, which says for a period of 15 months after the operation commences. So I don't think those two timelines work. If the train commences in late November, early December, and we're giving them 15 months, then they won't be able to report back in Q4 2019. It'll be pushed later than that, I believe. So one of them has to change, I think.
And Mr. Chair, if I could just comment, with respect to the 15-month period, the reason I was suggesting that in my motion is to give us a full year, to give the next Transit Commission a full year of data that they could have, and then to give staff some time to compile that and bring it back to this commission. I'm not entirely certain that it could be accomplished within the timeline suggested in Councillor Leeper's motion.
Yeah, and I understand that logic. I just think it has to be, like the two motions don't work together. They're different timelines, that's all.
Point of order, or an idea. If Councillor Leeper's motion succeeds, there could be a friendly amendment from Commissioner Blair to switch the Q4 2019 to Q1 2020. Yeah. So why don't we wait and see how that works?
So we'll go 1-3 with maybe a 2 after 3. Is that what we?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay, so the first motion is from Commissioner Mattila Hartman, that recommendation 1A to provide the general manager to permit and regulate the carriage of bicycles on board transit vehicles and in stations be amended such that bicycles continue to be permitted at all times on the Trillium line. We've got yeas and nays, please.
Commissioner Wilkinson?
Yes.
Commissioner Egley?
Can I pose a quick question?
Yeah, we've started voting.
Oh, well, because I think, again, it's inconsistent. I'm going to have to vote no on that.
Commissioner Mattila Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Mallow?
No.
Commissioner Tierney?
No.
Commissioner Nussbaum?
No.
Commissioner Leeper?
No.
Commissioner Milner?
No.
Commissioner Crew?
Yes.
Commissioner Cloutier?
Oui.
And Chair Blais?
Yes.
5, 1, 2, 3, 6 lost. 6-5.
It lost?
Yeah.
Okay, that's defeated. 6-5.
6-5. Lost.
Lost. So the next motion is the Councillor Leeper motion to effectively reverse the committee or the staff recommendation. Yeas and nays, please.
Just trying to put up on the screen.
Just a point of order, Mr. Chair. Councillor Leeper's motion is next, as opposed to my amending. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the recommendation was if Councillor Leeper's passes, then the amendment happens. If Councillor Leeper's doesn't pass, then it's not so much an amendment. I don't think the order particularly matters. In either way, Councillor Leeper's motion needs to pass for it to actually come into effect. So,
Chair, if I could just ask a quick question, and did Councillor Leeper accept the amendment that it would now read Q1 2020?
Yeah, if this passes, I'm happy with that as
Q1 2020. Thank you.
okay, clarified? Yeas and nays, please.
Commissioner Wilkinson?
Yes.
Commissioner Egley?
Yes.
Commissioner Mattila Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Mallow?
Yes.
Commissioner Tierney?
Yes.
Commissioner Nussbaum?
Yes.
Commissioner Leeper?
Yes.
Commissioner Milner?
Yes.
Commissioner Crew?
Yes.
Commissioner Cloutier?
We.
And Chair Blay?
No.
It's 10 to 1.
So, that passes. Commissioner Crew is, the motion is to amend the time frame in the last motion to,
That's correct.
Carried.
Commissioner Wilkinson?
This the change we made in the,
this is on
Discussion.
pets. This is on pets.
I know it's on pets, but I'd asked them to clarify it for the next council meeting, so I'll leave it till then, because right now it doesn't say it has to be a reasonable size.
I didn't hear what you said, Marianne.
It's just that a point that I raised there was the fact it doesn't limit how big the animals can be as long as you can get the crate on the bus. I mean, I thought we had done that as direction to staff. I just want to clarify that we did.
So are you able to provide that information before it's voted on at council?
Mr. Chair, what I suggested earlier was, depending on how the Commission deals with this part of the recommendation right now, I'd work with Legal Services, we could bring a possible amendment for consideration at the council meeting.
That serves me fine. I don't have to do it right now.
Perfect.
So yes.
We'll do B and then we'll come back. Okay, so yeas and nays on B, please.
Commissioner Wilkinson?
Yes.
Commissioner Egley?
Yes.
Commissioner Mattila Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Malo?
Yes.
Commissioner Tierney?
No.
Commissioner Nussbaum?
Yes.
Commissioner Leeper?
Yes.
Commissioner Milner?
Yes.
Commissioner Crew?
Yes.
Commissioner Cloutier?
Yes.
Chair Blay?
Yes.
Yes. It's 10 to 1.
And on C, can we just carry C? Carried. And we need to adopt A as amended. So I guess the totality of the report as amended.
Carried.
And all dissent. Okay.
Chair, sorry, I may have missed it, but did we vote on the busker piece?
Yes.
Yes.
We carried the Busker piece. There are no in-camera items. I understand Councillor Nussbaum has inquiries.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Two inquiries, one on behalf of me and Councillor Fleury. Routes 12, 7, and 6 consistently experience high levels of cancellation, both as a percentage of all bus route cancellations and more significantly, as a percentage of their own individual route numbers. Could staff please provide an explanation for why this is the case, along with any strategies to mitigate cancellations on these routes? And second inquiry is as follows. I was not able to locate OC Transpo annual performance reports after 2014, either in the document records of the Transit Commission or the OC Transpo website. Were annual performance reports prepared for 2015, 16, and 17? If so, can these reports be posted on the website? If not, and I understand in the intervening time that they were not, could staff please provide updated statistics for all of the figures measured in the 2014 annual performance reports through to 2017? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Wilkinson.
Yeah. Since the LRT opening has been delayed and since the transit budget is responsibility of the Transit Commission, and since when reviewing the budget for the 2018 budget, the Commission was informed that there was no need to add additional funds to cover extra costs, etc. Since the question is would be that the LRT had opened at its planned date, we would have $1 million penalty and additional costs to be covered by the consortium. Since then, as that has been questioned, please provide the following information to the Commission. The amount per month needed to pay the additional costs, the amount per month not required to pay the consortium for operations, whether the operation rate is just a deferral of expenses, i.e. the contract would be extended from the original plan, why transit staff appeared not be aware of the actual provisions of the agreement to costs after May 2018, and how any additional costs will be covered.
Perfect, thank you very much. Are there any other inquiries? Any other business?
Notice of motion?
Oh, excuse me, yes, Commissioner Crew, notice of motion.
Yes, filing the following notice of motion. It was circulated initially as a motion, but given the timing, I'm prepared to table it now as a notice of motion for consideration at a future meeting. It's regarding ongoing instruction to provide transit services in a manner that celebrates diversity and respects fundamental freedoms. The motion is as follows: whereas the province of Quebec recently passed Bill 62 into law, which is an act entitled An Act to Foster Adherence to State Religious Neutrality, hereafter referred to as the legislation, and whereas the legislation specifically applies to public transit authorities, and whereas the legislation specifies that persons in Quebec who request a service from a personnel member of a body referred to in the legislation must have their face uncovered when the service is provided, and whereas the City of Ottawa operates OC Transpo, a transit service that provides cross-border services into the province of Quebec, and whereas this legislation does not respect the fundamental freedoms of conscience and of religion and freedom of expression guaranteed by Section 2 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and whereas this legislation and the enforcement of it does not respect the Canadian Human Rights Act, and whereas the Mayor of the City of Ottawa advised the Premier of Quebec by a letter dated October 25th, 2017, that the City of Ottawa's bus drivers will not take steps to enforce the legislation and would be instructed not to do so. Therefore, be it resolved that the Transit Commission for the City of Ottawa will remain committed to equity and diversity and will continue to provide OC transit services in a manner that respects the fundamental freedoms guaranteed to all Canadians by the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Excellent, thank you. Are there any other notices of motion? Is there any other business? Adjournment. All right, perfect, thank you.